The war in the Middle East hasn't just shaken up the headlines. It has shaken up every corner of the economy, every market, every investment portfolio. And right now, more and more people are starting to whisper the word that nobody wants to say out loud: recession. And the reason? Two letters. Two letters that control more of your financial life than you probably realize. Oil. Here's what one market expert put it perfectly. Traders and investors are starting to grapple with this simple but stark math. Oil prices must go to levels that induce a recession. Iran cannot fight with tanks. But they can fight by driving up oil prices, which hurts the United States economically. That is the weapon being used right now. Not missiles, not armies. Oil prices. And in this video, I'm going to break down exactly what this means for you as an investor. 3 things. Number 1, what is happening in the oil market and why it matters so much. Number 2, how this is going to hit the job market harder than most people are expecting. And number 3, what all of this means for the economy and where the real investment opportunities are hiding inside this chaos. Stay with me until the end, because the investors who understand what I'm about to show you are the ones who will come out of this wealthier than when they went in. Oil, the history lesson. Nobody taught you. Let's start with history, because while history never repeats itself exactly, it rhymes with haunting precision. In the last 50 years, the world has experienced 6 major oil price shocks: 1973, 1979, 1990, 2008, 2022, and now 2026. Pause. Out of those first 5, how many do you think ended in a recession? 1973, recession. 1979, recession. 1990, recession. 2008, recession. 2022, the one exception: no recession. 4 out of 5 oil price shocks ended in economic pain, and right now we are living through the 6th one. So, what makes oil so powerful? Why does a price spike in one commodity send the entire global economy into a tailspin? Because oil is in everything. It's in your gas prices, it's in your grocery bill, because those groceries were shipped from a farm to a warehouse to a store, and every single step of that journey runs on oil. It's in your airline ticket, it's in the fertilizer that grows your food, it's in the cost of manufacturing every product you own. Oil is not just an energy source. Oil is the invisible tax on all of human activity, and in 2026 that tax just got a lot more expensive. Gas prices jumped by around $1 per gallon in the span of a single month, and according to Goldman Sachs, this is not just any oil supply shock. This is the most extreme oil supply shock in the entire history of the crude oil markets. Let that sink in. The most extreme ever. Pause. And the CEO of BlackRock, the largest asset manager in the entire world, laid out the stakes in 2 brutal options. We have 2 very extreme scenarios. Either oil falls back to $40 a barrel, or we face a global recession with years of oil at $150 a barrel. $40 or $150. Recovery or collapse. Those are the 2 roads ahead. The question nobody can answer yet is, which one are we on? What we know is the shock has happened. What we don't know is how long it lasts. In 2022, the oil shock lasted only weeks, not months. That short duration is what saved the economy. But this time, this conflict has no clear end in sight, and the longer it burns, the deeper the damage goes. The job market. A perfect storm is brewing. Now here is where it gets really serious, because oil prices do not just make life more expensive, they change behavior. When everything costs more, people spend less. That is not a theory, that is human nature. And when people spend less, businesses make less. And when businesses make less, they cut costs. And the first place they cut? Jobs. But here's what makes 2026 uniquely dangerous. This oil shock is not hitting a healthy job market. It is hitting a job market that is already being restructured from the inside by artificial intelligence. Right now, companies all over the world are realizing they need fewer human workers and more people to manage AI systems. The reshuffling is already happening. Layoffs are already happening. Not because businesses are failing, but because technology is replacing roles faster than new ones are being created. So we have two forces hitting the job market at the exact same time. Higher oil prices squeezing consumer spending from the outside, AI disruption reorganizing the workforce from the inside, and on top of that, consumer confidence has collapsed to some of its lowest levels we have seen in years. And that matters enormously, because people do not spend money based on economic data. They spend money based on how they feel. When people feel uncertain, they hold back. When they hold back, spending drops. When spending drops, businesses struggle. When businesses struggle, more layoffs follow. It is a cycle, and right now, all the conditions to start that cycle are in place. The economy and where the opportunity lives. Let's talk about what all of this means for the economy, and more importantly, what it means for your money. The economy is measured through GDP, gross domestic product. Simply put, it is a measure of all the spending happening in a country. When spending rises, the economy grows. When spending falls, the economy slows. A recession is technically defined as 2 consecutive quarters of economic decline. Right now, the economy is still growing, but slower than expected. The warning lights are flashing, but the engine has not stopped yet. Now here is the most important thing I can tell you, and this is what separates investors who build wealth from investors who lose it. Economic data is always delayed. By the time the numbers come in, the moment has already passed. By the time the media declares a recession, smart investors have already positioned themselves. That is why panic is not a strategy. Panic is a wealth destroyer. The investors who thrive in moments like this are the ones who stop asking, is a recession coming? And start asking, what will the world look like in 10 to 20 years? And how do I own a piece of that? Because here is the truth about every single crisis in history. Every crash, every recession, every market collapse. They all had one thing in common. They all ended, and every single time they ended, the markets recovered and went on to reach new all-time highs. Every single time. The question is never whether the market will recover. The question is whether you will still be in it when it does. The strategy, how to invest right now. So, what do you actually do? Here is the simple, clear strategy for right now. Always be buying. Not timing. Buying. Buy consistently whether markets are up or down. When markets fall, you are not losing. You are getting a discount on assets that will be worth more in the future. Invest broadly through index funds like the S&P 500. Let the entire market work for you. Invest in dividend-paying funds that pay you income while you wait for recovery. Invest in consumer staples. The companies that sell things people need regardless of economic conditions. Food, healthcare, household products. These hold up when everything else falls apart. Invest in gold as protection. When currencies weaken and uncertainty rises, gold rises with it. And if you believe the energy sector will see elevated prices for longer, there are compelling opportunities in oil and energy companies. If you believe in the long-term power of AI and technology despite the short-term disruption, this pullback is creating entry points that will look obvious in hindsight. The mindset that builds wealth. Here is the final thing I want to leave you with. Crises are not the enemy of wealth. Fear is. The people who will look back at 2026 and say, that was when everything changed for me financially, are not the ones who panicked and sold. They are not the ones paralyzed by headlines. They are the ones who understood the risk, stayed consistent, thought long-term, and kept buying when everyone else was running for the exit. The storm is real. The uncertainty is real. The risk is real. But so is the opportunity. Understand it, embrace it, and invest accordingly.